Welcome to the Psych Ignition. Everyone knows the loudest person in the room, the one who fights, who argues, who demands to be seen. But what about the one who doesn't? What about the individual who wins the war without ever firing a shot in public? The deadliest move in any game is the one your enemy doesn't even realize was made. This isn't about fighting dirty. This is about fighting invisibly. Welcome to the mind of the Sigma male, and the 12 lethal ways he flips the script, calmly, quietly, and with zero need for a round of applause. Let's get started. Number 1. The offensive focus. In the chaotic theater of human interaction, where most are desperate for a spotlight, the Sigma male operates from the shadows of his own purpose. His strategy is not one of loud declarations, but of a focus so intense, so unyielding, it becomes a form of silent, psychological defiance. He does not yell to be heard. He does not perform to be seen. Instead, he zones in on his mission with a ferocity that is almost disrespectful to those who dare to distract him. While others dissipate their energy in the petty arenas of gossip, emotional blackmail, and social climbing, the Sigma male has already mentally departed. He exists in build mode, immersed in a world of improvement, creation, and strategy so deep that even chaos must wait its turn. Dirty players anticipate drama. They crave retaliation. They expect to occupy prime real estate in his mind. What they receive instead is a profound, echoing silence. A man so utterly uninterested in their existence that it feels like social exile. Herein lies the real sting, a psychological masterstroke. Not public humiliation, but complete and utter disregard. When a Sigma male decides you no longer matter, the action is not loud, it is surgical. You are not blocked, you are out-prioritized. He doesn't expend the energy to hate you, he doesn't even grant you the currency of his thoughts. That is the real punishment. While the schemers plot their drama, the Sigma is building unassailable leverage. He is mastering a new skill, earning silent respect, securing opportunities, and locking in wins that are irrevocable. This obsession with personal growth is more terrifying than any revenge because you cannot manipulate someone who is indifferent to your opinion. You cannot sabotage someone who does not need your approval. His focus becomes an uncomfortable mirror for those around him. It radiates, unspoken, exposing the emptiness of fake hustle and the poverty of misplaced intention. The Sigma doesn't flex his focus, he embodies it. You feel it in his unwavering presence, in his relentless forward momentum, no matter what is thrown his way. And the most powerful part? He doesn't do it to prove anything to you. He does it because he cannot do otherwise. It is simply who he is. In a world intoxicated by noise and ego, the Sigma male's unshakable focus is the quiet thunder no one sees coming, until it levels everything they thought they controlled. Number 2. Outworking the Sabotage. The Sigma male does not wait for the world to play fair. He knows that luck is not a strategy, and fairness is a myth told by those who lose. While others waste their precious energy plotting distractions and weaving webs of sabotage, the Sigma is already in the trenches. He is in execution mode. His work ethic is a force of nature, relentless, focused, and powered from within. He puts in the hours when the world is asleep, building something so strong, so detailed, so damn real that petty interference simply shatters against it. Sabotage does not derail him because he is not on their track. He moves on momentum, not permission. This is where the dirty players miscalculate. They count on laziness. They expect shortcuts. They assume their schemes will trigger a collapse. But the Sigma male is already 5 steps ahead, building an engine that runs on its own fuel. If you block one door, he calmly builds another. If you take away his resources, he innovates and creates new ones. Every attempted setback, every act of betrayal, is merely converted into raw fuel for his obsession with progress. You cannot break someone who uses pressure to sharpen his edge, who turns chaos into clarity and betrayal into a blueprint. Psychological resilience isn't just a trait for him, It is his operating system. The schemers exhaust themselves, burning out as they try to control narratives and manipulate outcomes. But the Sigma doesn't need to clap back. He simply outperforms. And when the smoke clears, the truth is painfully obvious for all to see. While others were busy trying to ruin him, he was quietly outworking everyone, winning by default. They thought he would fall apart. They were certain he would give up. But the cold truth is, he has been through worse. And if there is one thing a Sigma male does better than anyone else, it is to show up anyway, every single day. Number 3. Reading the pattern, not the noise. When chaos erupts and emotional noise fills the air, the Sigma male does something most find unnerving. He grows quieter. He becomes a still point in a turning world. He understands a fundamental truth of human psychology. The louder someone gets, the more they reveal. He is not listening to what you say. He is decoding how you say it when you choose to speak, and why you felt the need to speak at all. This is not paranoia. This is advanced pattern recognition. While others are swept away by the drama of the moment, the Sigma's mind is a silent supercomputer, analyzing data in real time. A shift in tone, a flicker in the eyes, a behavioral inconsistency, a sudden overly friendly gesture after a subtle act of disrespect. All of it is registered, cataloged, and cross-referenced. One passive-aggressive comment? Noted. A hesitant answer to a direct question? Stored. The pattern of behavior, not the isolated incident, tells him everything he needs to know. By the time you realize he's onto you, he has already built a complete blueprint of your motives. And here is the most terrifying part of his strategy. He will not say a word. No accusations, no confrontations, no warnings. Sigma males do not react. They respond with surgical, strategic precision. While everyone is distracted by the surface-level nonsense, he is already rerouting his entire position around your trap, emerging miles ahead while you are left wondering why your manipulation failed to land. It is not that he is emotionally cold. It is that he has trained himself to see through the fog. He has watched people lie with smiles and betray with hugs. So now, he simply watches, carefully, calmly. And once the pattern is clear, the game is over. You won't even know you've been outplayed until the damage is done, and the Sigma has already moved on, untouched and unbothered. Number 4. Starving the narcissist. In the psychological landscape, the narcissist is a vortex, a black hole that feeds on emotional energy. They crave attention, any attention, the way a fire craves oxygen. Positive or negative, it makes no difference. Their only need is to be the center of your emotional universe. The Sigma male understands this cold, hard truth on a strategic level, and so he executes the most silent, devastating checkmate imaginable. He starves them. He does not yell, he does not plead, he does not engage in dramatic exits. He offers the one thing the narcissist cannot survive: his complete and utter detachment. This is not avoidance. It is a calculated withdrawal of the very resource the narcissist needs to live. While others get caught in the exhausting cycle of defending, explaining, and reacting, the Sigma simply disengages. Clean, quiet, ruthless. To a narcissist, being ignored is a special kind of hell. A confrontation at least confirms their importance. But the Sigma's silence? It is a void. A chilling absence where their ego once thrived. This indifference is a psychological weapon of mass destruction. The narcissist, starved for that emotional oxygen, begins to scramble. They become louder, more dramatic, more desperate in their attempts to provoke a reaction. They need to know they still matter. And the Sigma? He doesn't flinch. He doesn't explain his silence. He lets the narcissist spiral into their own emptiness, a spectacle of self-implosion that he observes from a detached, clinical distance. He wins not by fighting the toxic game, but by refusing to play it at all. Narcissists want drama. The Sigma gives them indifference. They crave control. He gives them emptiness. This strategic detachment doesn't just neutralize the manipulation, it annihilates it, quietly and permanently. By the time the narcissist realizes they have lost, the Sigma male has already built an entirely new chapter, one where their name has been erased completely. Number 5. The betrayal as free intel. For most, betrayal is a wound, a seismic event that shatters trust and triggers an emotional earthquake. But for the Sigma male, a betrayal is not an ending, it is a briefing. It is a moment of brutal, unflinching clarity. While others are reeling from the gut punch, crying to the crowd, or plotting their emotional counterattack, the Sigma becomes a cold observer. There are no tears, only mental note-taking, no public breakdown, only a private, strategic audit. He understands that when someone plays dirty, it reveals their true nature in the most honest way possible. Betrayal is a flash of lightning in the dark, illuminating the landscape and showing you exactly where the cracks in your foundation lie. It answers the critical questions. Where did I ignore the red flags? Who was never truly loyal? What in my own awareness needs to be fortified? This is post-betrayal strategy in its purest form. When someone betrays a Sigma, they don't just burn a bridge, they hand him the blueprints to build a better, more secure one elsewhere. He traces the leak, plugs it, and redesigns his entire system to ensure it can never happen again. And he does it all without drama, without noise, without giving the betrayer the satisfaction of a reaction. This mindset is terrifying to manipulative people. They expect chaos, guilt, or retaliation. Instead, they are met with a profound silence, followed by the unnerving sight of the Sigma evolving, improving, and leveling up, using their betrayal as the very fuel for his ascent. The betrayer often believes they got away with it, mistaking his silence for defeat or forgiveness. But that silence is not acquiescence. It is processing. And once the processing is complete, the Sigma is smarter, sharper, and 10 times harder to fool. He has turned their knife into his tool, their betrayal into his armor. Betrayal never weakens a Sigma male. It simply updates his code. Number 6. The patient observer. In a world addicted to instant reactions and quick fixes, the Sigma male possesses a weapon that most have forgotten: the power of patience. He understands a profound, universal law. Systems under stress will eventually reveal their flaws. People who play dirty are such a system, a chaotic one, built on a foundation of deception that is inherently unstable. He knows they will inevitably go too far. The very nature of their game, the craving for chaos, the addiction to control, contains the seeds of their own destruction. They cannot help but implode under the weight of their own schemes, and so the Sigma does not lift a finger to speed it up. This is not passivity, it is the highest form of strategy. He understands that reacting too soon gives the enemy power and energy, but waiting is lethal. While the dirty player adds layer upon layer of lies, drama, and performance, the Sigma male simply steps aside. He becomes a quiet spectator to their self-directed tragedy, taking mental notes as they tirelessly dig their own grave. He lets them talk, he lets them boast, he lets them overcommit to the role of the villain. The louder they get, the more obvious their guilt becomes. Eventually, the lies no longer align. The story breaks. Their carefully constructed web begins to collapse under its own complexity. And by then, it is far too late. No amount of backpedaling can save them. When the whole mess finally caves in, the Sigma male walks away untouched. No dirt on his hands, no drama attached to his name. He didn't throw a single punch. He didn't play the victim, he just waited. His restraint is not weakness, it is composure, weaponized. The self-destruction of his enemies becomes a form of poetic justice. They underestimated him because he didn't react. They mocked his calm. But what they never understood, until it was far too late, was that the Sigma wasn't avoiding the game. He was simply letting the game eat itself alive. Number 7. The silent exit. Most departures are loud, messy affairs, filled with ultimatums, slammed doors, and emotional speeches designed to inflict a final wound. But not the Sigma males. His exit is not an event, it is an evaporation. He never threatens to leave. He simply vanishes. There is no grand announcement, no list of grievances, no search for validation. When the Sigma determines that a person, a place, or a situation no longer aligns with his energy or purpose, he doesn't debate it. He executes a quiet, strategic, and total withdrawal. And in doing so, he leaves behind a vacuum that is more powerful than any insult. This absence is a psychological mirror, forcing others to sit in the unsettling silence of their own behavior, with no one left to blame or fight. You cannot argue with a void. You cannot manipulate a ghost. Dirty players are left disoriented. They craved scene, a dramatic finale where they could play the pivotal role. They needed to be significant enough to cause him pain. The Sigma denies them this satisfaction. His departure is not an act of pettiness, but a profound act of self-preservation. What makes this so devastatingly effective is that the Sigma doesn't disappear from a place of weakness, but from an unshakable knowledge of his own worth. He has mastered the art of detachment to the point where walking away is not a struggle, but a natural, effortless step forward. By the time anyone realizes he is gone, the Sigma male is already building something new in a space that is quieter, cleaner, and completely free of the chaos he left behind. His disappearance is not revenge, it is evolution. And for those who thought he would never leave without a fight, that silent, unwavering peace is the most painful lesson of all. Number 8. Loyalty forged in fire. The Sigma male operates on a profound understanding of human nature. Anyone can be a saint in calm waters. Fair-weather loyalty is cheap, easily given, and utterly meaningless. He does not hand out his trust based on smiles in the sunlight or agreements in times of peace. He knows that a true character is not revealed in comfort, but in chaos. So when the storm hits, when the sabotage begins, when the lies spread like wildfire, when the pressure mounts, the Sigma does not panic. He becomes profoundly still. This stillness is not a withdrawal from the fight, but a strategic positioning. He becomes an observer, a silent auditor of the human spirit. He does not beg for loyalty. He lets the crisis reveal it. And the revelations are often brutal. The ones who were loudest in their support during peaceful times are often the first to fall silent. Those who claimed unwavering allegiance vanish without a word. But the few who stand beside him, not with grand speeches, but with quiet, unwavering presence, these are the ones the Sigma marks for life. The most formidable aspect of this strategy is that the test is never announced. He never says, "I am watching you." He simply watches. And when the chaos subsides, he does not call people out. He cuts them off. No drama, no final confrontation, just a quiet, internal note that reads, "Not reliable." To the Sigma, loyalty that collapses under pressure was never loyalty. It was merely convenience. In a twisted way, the dirty players who try to stir chaos become his unwitting allies. They think they are ruining him, but what they are truly doing is purifying his circle, burning away the false and leaving only the genuine. That is why his inner circle is microscopic, but unshakable. He doesn't recruit when things are calm. He waits for the storm and sees who remains standing. Trust is earned not in words, but in unwavering presence when everything is on fire. And by the time the embers cool, the Sigma hasn't just survived. He has upgraded his circle, his awareness, and his strategy. Those who failed the test do not get a second chance. For in the Sigma's world, loyalty is not asked for. It is proven in the crucible, and it is remembered forever. Number 9. The architecture of irrelevance. The petty mind seeks revenge, a temporary, often hollow satisfaction that keeps it tethered to the very conflict it seeks to win. But the Sigma male's mind operates on a different frequency. He is not driven by the need to clap back, but by the pull of his vision. When faced with betrayal, he does not waste energy plotting a counterattack. He architects his ascent. He outsources the base instinct for revenge to the universe itself, to karma, to time, to the natural consequences of toxic behavior, and focuses all his energy on a far more devastating strategy, building a life of such substance that his detractors become irrelevant. This is not about forgiveness. It is about priorities. The Sigma understands that to give someone your anger is to grant them a form of power over your focus. Why hand them your most valuable resource when you could be investing it in building a legacy they can never touch? This relentless forward momentum is the most brutal form of retaliation. While the snakes are still crawling in the mud, the Sigma is constructing a skyscraper. He isn't just outgrowing the situation, he is making himself unreachable. And for those who tried to destroy him, that silent, ever-widening gap is pure psychological humiliation. They expected a fight, a reaction, a dramatic feud. Instead, they are met with a profound and utter indifference. Success alone is not the real revenge. Irrelevance is. The ultimate defeat is not being defeated, but being forgotten. When the person you tried to sabotage no longer thinks of you, no longer speaks your name, no longer occupies the same mental or physical orbit, that is the silent, crushing checkmate. The Sigma doesn't get even, he gets evolved. And karma, it doesn't need an invitation. It simply arrives, right on time, the moment he stops looking back. Number 10. The slow burn of truth. In an age of instant reactions and rushed judgments, the Sigma male places his faith in a more ancient, more reliable force. The slow, inexorable burn of truth. While others scramble to clear their name with desperate explanations and frantic clapbacks, the Sigma takes a different path. Silence, distance, unwavering focus. This is not the silence of weakness, but the silence of the deep ocean, calm on the surface, powerful and unmoving beneath. He understands that truth has one unbeatable ally that falsehood can never possess: time. Liars must remember their fabrications. Schemers must maintain their narratives. But the Sigma, he simply has to be. He knows that if someone is playing a deceptive game, the most strategic move is to step back and give them all the rope they need. Eventually, they will tangle themselves in it. He doesn't need to expose them. He understands that patterns are self-incriminating. You don't need to blow the whistle when someone's behavior is a walking confession. The spotlight always shifts, and when it does, it illuminates every contradiction, every fake smile, every manipulated moment with brutal clarity. The genius of this approach is that it appears to be mere calm, mere indifference. But behind the scenes, the Sigma is a master archivist of behavior. He documents not for revenge, but for awareness. He knows that exposing a lie too early gives the liar a chance to spin a new one. But if you wait until they have fully committed to their false reality, their collapse is total and irreversible. And the final, masterful stroke, by the time the truth finally erupts, quietly, undeniably, the Sigma male is so far ahead, so elevated, that he doesn't even need to utter the words, "I told you so." His peace, his growth, his unbothered success say it for him. The noise and the lies are rendered obsolete, fading into the background like a distant, forgotten rumor. Number 11. The leverage of obsession. Obsession is not a weapon, it is a cage. While the dirty player is consumed by their fixation on the Sigma male, plotting, baiting, and tirelessly trying to provoke a reaction, the Sigma does something they never anticipate. He becomes a quiet scholar of their own weakness. He observes their every move, not with anger, but with analytical precision. In their obsession, he finds a goldmine of strategic intelligence. An obsessed mind is a predictable mind. It becomes emotional, sloppy, and repetitive. It stops thinking objectively and starts moving on impulse. The Sigma understands this rare psychological truth. Anyone obsessed with him has already handed him the leash. He doesn't need to yank it. He simply holds it, calmly and with supreme control. He may even set subtle bait, play indifferent, and allow just enough access for the enemy to feel the thrill of impending victory. This is the psychological equivalent of judo. He is not fighting their energy, he is using it against them. He lets their obsession guide them, step by predictable step, right into a checkmate of their own design. The irony is exquisitely brutal. While the enemy is emotionally invested, pouring all their energy into the fight, the Sigma remains surgically detached. He has no emotional stake in their drama. He is not trying to win their attention, he is using it. And once he has extracted all he needs, confirmation of their motives, identification of their weak spots, a map of their alliances, he simply walks away. He leaves them surrounded by the mess they created, all while he remains utterly untainted, his focus unbroken. The Sigma doesn't gloat. He doesn't need to. The real victory is in how little he cared, and how effortlessly he turned their greatest weapon into their most devastating defeat. Number 12. The quiet, long game. In the end, all these moves are but single notes in a much grander symphony. The Sigma male's ultimate strategy is not a single tactic, but a way of being. He plays the long game, and he plays it in silence. He never flinches at dirty play because he was never invested in the temporary applause, the surface-level validation, or the ego-fueled skirmishes that consume everyone else. While others are obsessed with quick wins and dramatic performances, the Sigma is building a legacy, a masterpiece that unfolds slowly, methodically, and far beyond the emotional chaos of the present. When sabotage strikes, he doesn't explode, he absorbs. He observes the bigger picture with the calm of a grand master. They expect a reaction, a meltdown, a desperate attempt to fight fire with fire. But the Sigma knows that emotional reactions in the short term often cost you the long-term victory. So instead of engaging, he simply keeps building, slowly, ruthlessly, without ever needing to prove a point. The sheer brilliance of this is revealed only in hindsight. By the time others realize what he has been doing, it is already too late. He let them win the shallow battles. He let them laugh, let them gossip, let them perform their circus acts for a captive audience. And while they were busy curating their drama, he was quietly acquiring unshakable leverage. He was sharpening his craft to a razor's edge, forging alliances built on substance, and constructing a position so solid that no smear campaign could ever touch it. Dirty players always underestimate patience. They mistake silence for surrender. But for the Sigma, silence is the fertile ground where empires are built. He doesn't need to interrupt you while you're performing. He just buys the whole damn tent when no one is looking. His success does not announce itself with a bang. It arrives like the dawn, slow, steady, and undeniable. And when it crests the horizon, it doesn't just defeat his enemies, it exposes the utter smallness of their games in comparison to the empire he was building all along. When the final dust settles, and all the noise fades to nothing, only one truth remains, echoing in the silence. The Sigma male never needed to play dirty to win. He simply played smarter. He didn't react, he recalibrated. He didn't fight back, he outgrew the war entirely. His power was never in shouting louder. It was in knowing, with unshakable certainty, that the game was never about the other players in the first place. It was always about the legacy he was born to build. So remember this dot. The board is always shifting. Players will come and go, obsessed with their temporary victories and noisy dramas. But for you, the game was never about them. It was always about the legacy you were building, a legacy forged not in the fires of revenge, but in the quiet, unbreakable discipline of your own focus. You don't need to play their game, you just need to master your own. Now go and build. If this video resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more content on the Sigma personality and other related topics. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.